Joining me now is New York State Republican Assemblyman Ed Ra. Ed is Assemblyman, it's so great to have you on. Okay, so Governor Cuomo reportedly made phone calls to state lawmakers, pressuring them not to call for his resignation. And now a woman who's accusing him of sexual harassment, analyst, says his top spokesman, Rich Azzopardi, Cuomo's spokesman, called her on her honeymoon to pressure her. Is this obstruction of justice?
Well, it certainly sounds like it's trending in that territory, and at the very least, it's very inappropriate when a investigation is ongoing. But as we've seen, whether it was my colleague Ron Kim and the threatening phone call, this really is unfortunately the way that office has operated for the last decade.
New York taxpayers didn't pay for this kind of behavior. They don't pay the salaries of spokesmen to behave like this, to interfere and pressure women who are accusing a state elected official of sexual harassment. So is this going to be added to the impeachment resolution, do you think? Because he's accused of obstructing the DOJ in their probe into COVID-19 nursing home deaths connected to his order. As you pointed out, state lawmaker Ron Kim, Cuomo accused of bullying and threatening him. And now he's now accused of trying to do a smear campaign against another accuser, Lindsey Boylan. That's the New Yorker magazine reporting that. So what is going on here? Is this going to be added to the impeachment resolution?
I think that's certainly something we would look at doing. You know, going back a few weeks ago, we originally proposed an impeachment commission, a bipartisan commission, and that was focused on the nursing homes. And then as these sexual harassment allegations have come out, we added that into the mix. And then this past Monday, we introduced this impeachment resolution. So I think all of these things have to be put in there because it really shows just all around just the lack of trust that we should have in the executive at this point. If they're going to conduct themselves this way with somebody who is alleging sexual harassment and inappropriate sexual behavior, what would they not do?
Yeah, so you're saying it should be put into the impeachment resolution, so that you're making news right there. Let's listen to Cuomo's accuser, analyst, explain what happened when Cuomo's spokesman, Rich Azzopardi, phoned her out of the blue on her honeymoon. Watch this.
I'm just saying that it wasn't a safe space for young women to work, or women in general. He said, I have kind of an awkward question to ask you. Has Lindsey Boylan reached out to you? Have you spoken to her? And I said, no. And then when we hung up, I remember thinking, how many other people is he calling?
Who else did the spokesman, Rich Azzopardi, call? And is that his job? Is that what taxpayers pay him to do? Is to pressure and influence women who are involved in a sexual harassment allegation that's now being investigated by the state attorney general office? Is that his job? Is that what he's supposed to be doing?
Certainly not. And I would say, I have colleagues on the other side of the aisle who have been saying, hey, let's let the Attorney General's investigation play out and see what happens. It's premature to call for resignation. Well, here's a perfect example of why we need to act now. And if the governor is not going to resign, we should take action and begin impeachment proceedings, because clearly, they're going to try to interfere.
Yeah, and we also are showing the Cuomo administration ordered homes for the disabled to take back in COVID-19 patients, recovering patients, and they never rescinded that order. So that still stands. Disabled people at risk. All right, Assemblyman, thanks for joining us. For her reaction, let's bring back on columnist and author Kristin Tate. Kristin, we have the strong-arming of, it looks like, a sexual harassment accuser, analyst. And we also have the New Yorker magazine reporting someone in the Cuomo administration is trying to smear Lindsey Boylan. When she went public last December, they released her personal records to the media. Your take on this story?
Well, the story just keeps getting worse and worse. And if Andrew Cuomo were a Republican governor, I mean, every Democrat from Joe Biden on down would be demanding his immediate resignation or removal from office. They'd be treating him the same exact way they treated Brett Kavanaugh, with zero respect for due process. They tried to destroy Kavanaugh's life and humiliate his family based on decades-old allegations that were completely unsubstantiated. I mean, they went through every yearbook photo and believed every claim, no matter how absurd or baseless. But what Cuomo is revealing for us, Liz, is that the Democrats' standard was never believe all women. It's always been believe all women unless they are accusing our own. I mean, look at the way the accusers of Bill Clinton and Joe Biden, both of whom were reputable, were treated. These women were basically tossed aside and ignored. And although we have seen some New York Democrats calling for Cuomo to be thrown out of office on the national level, many prominent Democrats have remained silent. I mean, Kamala Harris, she was one of the most passionate anti-Kavanaugh voices. She still hasn't made a peep about these Cuomo accusations. Nancy Pelosi and Biden, they still haven't said whether they would support an effort to remove him either.
Well, the double standards are stunning, Kristin. You pointed out. Kristin, there's also this. Yes, due process, but Governor Cuomo says no one told him at the time that he was being inappropriate. He signed a sexual harassment law 2 years ago. His staffers go through sexual harassment training to know that certain things are wrong. So it's not sexual harassment unless someone tells you?
I mean, it's just ridiculous, the excuses being made, but this really should not surprise anyone. Cuomo has shown a shocking amount of arrogance throughout the last year. I mean, not just with this sexual harassment scandal, but with the nursing home scandal as well. We know that 15,000 elderly New Yorkers died in nursing homes after his order. He then went on to cook the books to hide the true death toll and wrote a book praising himself for his COVID handling. Meanwhile, he was going on these cable networks like CNN, his own brother's show, engaging in this banter, making light of a terrible situation in New York as people were dying, as New Yorkers were losing their businesses, their livelihoods, their savings due to his draconian lockdown orders. So, you know, his behavior as these new accusations come forward, it's really no surprise.
Kristin Tate, it's always great to see you. You're a great writer. We love reading your columns and books. It's good to see you.